Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. And those who are new to my channel, warm welcome to my channel as well. And I would request you to like, share, subscribe, and also hit the bell icon to get notified for any tutorials around Sterling Integrator and EDI in general, as well as cloud. So, as I mentioned in our last video, a quick recap of what are the upcoming videos that I'm gonna make on this channel. Today, I thought I would concentrate or consider AS2 setup step by step, how you can do it in Sterling B2B Integrator as a tutorial. So today's tutorial might be a little lengthy than my previous videos, which I tried to keep it as short as possible for you to be able to digest it easily. So let's get started in respect to today's video, which is about how to set up AS2. And this AS2 setup is a brand new setup, which means that there is no AS2 organization setup, there is no AS2 partner setup, because typically in a AS2 setup, the first thing is there are two entities that are involved. One is, let's say, if you are an organization on your side, right? So you will be setting up your organization, and then there will be multiple or thousands of partner setups. So organization setup is one time effort, and then you add on additional partners. Because we don't have a AS to organization setup today, so we're going to set up the organization first and then set up a partner and do a testing. That's the first step. But in general, when you are in actually a production environment working in a project, typically there is already an AS to, until and unless the project is brand new, the Sterling integrator is brand new, everything is brand new, then it's a different scenario. But if it is an existing Sterling integrator environment and you are being asked as a developer to set up a AS2 partner setup and relationship, then typically assumption is that the AS2 organization is already set up, which is representing yourself, and then you have other additional partners that you're going to add to that organization, right? So in that case, you can skip the first step of creating the AS2 organization and just get into the setup which is related to AS2 partner. So with that, let me share my screen. Okay. So as I mentioned, the first step of our tutorial is how to set up a AS2 organization, because before you set up an AS2 partner, you need to have a AS2 organization set up. So to do that, in older versions, just like me, in newer versions, the UI might have changed a little bit, but in the older versions, typically you go to trading partner and then there is a tab called AS2. If you click on that, there are a couple of options on the very top under create new. The first one is AS2 partner or organization, and the second is AS2 trading relationship. So we'll cover both of them in today's video. The first step when you are doing a AS2 setup is you need to set up a AS2 organization. The second step is setting up a AS2 partner, and then the third step is creating the trading relationship between the organization and the partner. But to preamble that, for creating an AS2 setup, the most important part is to have a AS2 certificate, right? And then the second step I would say is your AS2 organization, which is your information. The third step is AS2 partner, which is your partner's information. And then the last step is the AS2 relationship, which is actually pairing up of the AS2 organization and the AS2 partner, right? So let's do quickly how to set up AS2 certificate. Okay, that's the first step. So to do that, we need to go under, like in the same trading partner uh, setup, you have a digital certificate. So we're gonna just go to system, right? And then we are going to create a self-signed certificate for our own knowledge purpose. But you can like have a CA certified certificate in production environment, right? Using third party. But for our purpose, we're going to create a self-signed. So click on the self-signed certificate. And then here, let's say we name it testing is to certificate. Okay, organization, let's say testing, and then rest are not mandatory because the blue ones are highlighted, those are mandatory. The next ones are not mandatory. Let's click next. Then we keep, let's say we can give a serial number, maybe 1 2 3 4 5 6. Duration, let's not keep 0 days, let's keep something which is a significant number so that it doesn't expire immediately. Key length, let's make it more stronger, 1024, and then just click next, and then finish it. So this is going to create the self-signed AS2 certificate. We can validate that by clicking on Go. And then if you see over here, we have a testing AS2 certificate created, right? And then what we're gonna do is we are gonna check out so that we can use it in our setup, right? So let's create checkout, and then let's download this certificate, okay? And then leave base 64. We don't need the DER, we can do it, but that's okay. We can just have a base 64 certificate, that's a .cer, and then let's save it in our maybe desktop. All right, now you can close this window. So we have this base 64 certificate downloaded and saved in our desktop. Okay, now let's go to the AS2 organization setup, which is the second step as I mentioned. So click on here and then click on Go. First, we need to create the organization. That's the first step. So toggle that to organization. Click on next. Okay. Now here it says create new identity or use existing identity. We don't have any identity created because, as I told, it's a brand new. So we're going to create a new identity. Okay. And then let's give a name to this. Okay. So let's see, maybe testing is to org. All right. And then we need to give a AS2 identifier, which is very important, which goes like a sender ID and a receiver ID in the AS2 header information. So that's the AS2 identifier. So let's give something called testing AS2 underscore org, just using some general naming convention. Uh, let's keep a profile name. So same testing AS2 underscore org. And then here is asking like two mandatory exchange certificate and signing certificate. What we're gonna do is we're gonna select the exchange certificate as that the one that we created in previous. Same for the next one. So we're going to select the signing, the self-sign certificate in both the exchange and the signing certificate for our testing. But in general, as I mentioned, in production environment, it probably, in most cases, it's a different certificate for both of them, and typically they are not self-signed. For better security or improved security, it's typically a CA or another third-party certified certificates. So we're gonna select the testing one for this one, and same for the signing one. Let's select the okay. And as I mentioned, typically in real world scenario, this your DUNS number, right, or your company name or portion of your company name. And when your partner sends data through AS2 to you, this is the identifier that will be in the AS2 portion of the AS2 header. Likewise, when you are send your data to the partner, it will be from the AS2 from this portion of the that in the AS2 header, right? And then click on. So I think we have completed most of the steps here. Go scroll down. click next and finish. So this is going to create the AS2 configuration for the organization. Okay. Now, if we can list, you'll see we have a AS2 organization setup done. So that's the second step after the certificate that we created. Okay. Now, moving on, the second step we're going to do is, I think there's some error that has happened. Let's see. Okay. Let's create the partner setup. Typically, right, the step, like, this is what we're doing everything in our own style in B2B integrator. But in real life, there are exchange of information, certain specific information in respect to AS2 setup that you exchange with trading partner, and similarly the trading partner sends their information. So it is like typically we use an Excel sheet where we have both like our details that we fill in and send it to a trading partner, and the trading partner fills the same kind of information and they send it to us, so that both the sides are set up, and then that same information is used for the network team to open the firewalls on. Then we do a testing in our non-production environment, we move it to production environment, right? That's how it typically works. So now let's create the partner side of it. Okay. So to do that, we need another certificate. Okay. That certificate is typically used, like typically the certificate that now I am talking about, the first one is the one that you are using to uh, sign the data or the message before you send it to a trading partner. Similarly, when your trading partner is sending you inbound AS2 document, they sign it with portion of the certificate already in your system, so that when you receive that AS2 information, you use that public certificate that they have already shared, that you have used in the setup, to be able to identify that, yeah, this is the authenticated trading partner that is sending the data. That is one of the most important reason why typically this AS2 protocol is being used, because of the safety or the security that you get. Other than, there are other features like MDNs, like message disposition notifications and all that. So to do that, let's create a trusted certificate, right? And how do we do that? Let's do one quick thing. Maybe what we can do is we can use the same self-send certificate for our testing purpose as the partner certificate as well, right? So we can do that. But in real life, as I mentioned, you will get a real, like a public certificate that you need to put it in the trusted. So if I go here and let's see what, we don't have any trusted certificate. So let's check in a new certificate and the same certificate just for our testing purpose. And let's mention this as maybe, what do we name? Should we name it? Let's see. Some or any company. Okay. Any company underscore or hyphen, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then create next. And so we are trusting this certificate. So that's why we have put it into the trusted certificate, right? Now if I go on back and then click on like search, here we have the certificate under the trusted, because this is needed when you are creating the partner. Now we go back to your AS2 partner and then click on partner, keep it in partner because we've already created the organization. So in this step, we are going to create a partner. Here it says create a new identity, and we're going to create a new identity. So we click next. And then let's give the name as any company. Let's keep the AS2 identifier same, but it can be the DUNS number of the trading partner or the company name and then click on next, and then it asks for a profile name. You can keep it same for our demo. HTTP client adapter, let's keep it as client, or we can have another client adapter created, but let's take the default one. But let's take endpoint. We need an endpoint where they would be like, we will have our HTTP server adapter running, right? Also, so let me see what we can give it here. Let's say, so the endpoint over here would be the client adapter and then the endpoint. So this is basically the communication that is happening from your end to their end. All right. So let's give a demo, a dummy one, which can be, let's see, local host, and then what is our 50,000? So let's give 50,033. This is the default AS2 uh, HTTP adapter, and then response timeout, which is also a mandatory one. Let's put it at 60, right? And then it says what are other steps. I think the rest is same. And just to remember this endpoint that I'm given is just the dummy one, okay? But this is the endpoint that your partner gives you. So where their server adapter is running, and you're using this client adapter to connect to them to send the file. So we have given a dummy one, but typically they would give this information. This their or maybe we can give, like, let's say not localhost. Maybe let's say, how about let's mimic the any company itself, right? How about this, right? And maybe use, like, just to remove the confusion, we can give maybe, how about this, right? Let's see. And then in the next page there is the exchange certificate. Everything we keep it same, like just default exchange certificate and signing certificate, right? So let's select the exchange certificate, and then it's going to pop up the any company one that we created under the trusted store. Let's select that, and then same for signing certificate. Select the same one, click save. What else? Let's keep MDN receive. So we want to test, like, receiving MDN stuff. Okay. So we have toggled it on, and then click next. And then receive timeout, let's keep it 300. Delivery mode synchronous, so that we receive the MDN in the same communication itself. And click next. And then finish it off. Okay. So now, if you see over here, the partner is also created, right? The partner and the organization. Okay. Now, the next step is to create a relationship, right? Before we test it. So, what we can do is we can go to this AS2 trading relationship. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. And then let's give that um, organization and partner is to identifier, right? So if you remember that, maybe let's copy that, or else we might forget. So this is the any company. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, there you go. And then let's type any company. There you go. And then in the next page, it says how frequently the retry will happen if the trading partner is not reachable, things like that. We keep it all uh, as default. Notify on final failure, everything remains the same. Store AS2 message in file system. So there are multiple options, right, where you can store the AS2 messages, right? Whether it's in file system or mailboxes, things like that. So we keep it everything same. We select for file system, but you can do it in mailbox as well. And then it says the next step is like if you selected file system, it's going to show you your, like, this is Windows box, so where it is install folder, then there is a AS2 partner folder that will be created, and then there is an outbound, which is the collection folder. Similarly, extraction, it will be under inbound, and then there is an error folder that's gonna get created, right? If it is mailbox, then it's going to do the same. Like if you go back here and select mailbox, it's going to show similar thing, but it's like a mailbox, right? So what we're doing is we're doing the file system one right now, just for a testing purpose. But we can do like based on our requirement, right? It's not about what you want, but what's the requirement. Are you going to store them in file system, or you're going to do it in the mailbox, right? And then let's just next and finish it off. Once this is done and everything is completed, or all the steps are completed, and I can even show, like if I go let's see, and then if I go to local disk, let's see if has already created, or it creates when the first time we run the test now. But in si install, yeah, see over here, there's already one, like on today's date, right? It was created. This is one. See if you is it AS2 partner, and then within that you see testing AS2 organization, and then within there will multiple company like partners folders. So there's one organization and then multiple partners at this. So if there are like, this is any company, if it is like ABC company, there will be another folder for that. If it is like test company, there's another folder under that, right? And then within that there will be three folders that will get created: error, inbound, and outbound, right? So this is just to show you that is okay. And then the good thing about these versions of Sterling B2B Integrator is, before even involving the partner to do the real testing, which you eventually have to do, there is an option of like just testing internally, like a routing loop. Like you're doing an internal loop, like assuming that you're the organization, you're the partner, and you're doing a loop, okay, just to see that everything within your environment is properly set up or not. You can use this test now or test button just next to the partner to just test the overall information and everything is proper or not, like the certificates, the identities, and everything. So if you click on this, it gives you just a warning, like running a test on a production system can have a negative impact, blah blah. Make sure you're coordinating and are you ready to run this. Just ignore that and just click on OK. If you do that, it's going to automatically invoke a business process. And then if you see over here, it creates, like, okay, it checks first step the profile, whether the partner profile is active, everything is done, so it says passed. Second is, this is just a sanity check that you can do right after you have done the setup. Then it checks the delivery channel, which is delivery channel that gets created, a resource that gets created when you're actually creating the AS2 setup. That's active. The transport channel, that is active. The HTTP client adapter, that's enabled. Proxy, there's no proxy or SSL that you have set up, so that's not applicable. HTTP connection, it says unknown host. To verify the host specified enter, because if you remember over here, the HTTP endpoint that we selected, if you see, the HTTP endpoint that we selected was a dummy one. If you remember, I gave like any company colon some dummy port slash AS2 that is not available. When that is available, it actually checks the connection as well, right? So that's how you basically test it internally, the AS2 setup, whether it is proper or not. I hope this was useful for all of you. Just try it out in your environment, and just for your learning purpose. And do let me know in the comment section if you have any questions around this ACE2 setup that we went through. And I hope this was useful for all of you. With that, I'm going to conclude today's session. Again, those who are new to my channel, a very warm welcome. Please hit the like, share, subscribe button, and also hit the bell icon for getting notified. And I'll see you in our next video. With that, take care and bye.